In the end, the strikes came within 2 days, not 2 weeks. The smoke on the horizon, America's calling card. Fordo, the most fortified of the 3 sites, hit with 12 13-ton bunker busters from B-2 bombers. Natanz, the largest plant, got 2, and along with Isfahan, thought to contain near bomb-grade enriched uranium, was struck by 30 cruise missiles. From the Situation Room in the White House, President Trump, who pledged to be the peacemaker president, watched as, on his orders, Operation Midnight Hammer began. Warplanes and submarines taking America directly into Israel's war with Iran.
Tonight I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated. Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace. If they do not, future attacks will be far greater and a lot easier.
As satellite images were released appearing to show 6 craters at Fordo, likely caused by American bombs, Iran's foreign minister, who on Friday met with European politicians to discuss a diplomatic solution, accused America of destroying diplomacy and warned of endless consequences.
Of course, the door for diplomacy should be always keep open, but this is not the case right now. My country has been under attack, under aggression, and we have to respond based on our legitimate right of self-defense.
Despite near immediate strikes on Israel, Prime Minister Netanyahu was clearly delighted he'd finally succeeded in drawing an American president into direct confrontation with his great enemy.
Congratulations, President Trump. Your bold decision to target Iran's nuclear facilities with the awesome and righteous might of the United States will change history.
The B-2s took off from their base in the United States. It's still not clear how much damage they managed to inflict, but we are told there has been no increase in radiation levels. Iran was showcasing its ballistic stockpile today as Donald Trump assessed the biggest gamble of his presidencies. His decision has the power to fundamentally change the Middle East and beyond. This is likely a start point, not an end.
God bless the Middle East, God bless Israel, and God bless America. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Emma Murphy, ITV News, Iraq.
Right, we'll speak to Emma in a moment, but first to our US correspondent Dan Rivers in Washington. Dan, we've been hearing more details this afternoon about how these attacks were carried out.
Yeah, that's right. We've had a briefing from Pete Hegseth, the Defence Secretary at the Pentagon, who described this Operation Midnight Hammer as bold and brilliant. He gave details about how 75 precision munitions were used in total, including 14 of these so-called bunker buster bombs, these massive ordnance penetrators. This was the largest B-2 mission in history. B-2 bombers flying from Missouri non-stop, in-flight refueling in a journey that took some 37 hours. He also said that decoy flights were actually put in train, heading in the opposite direction, going west towards Diego Garcia to try and fool Iran into thinking that there were several more days perhaps before any strikes would take place. Submarines were also used, we're told, launching more than 24 Tomahawk cruise missiles. One thing though, Dan Kane, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, said that the Iranian facilities have been severely damaged, not completely obliterated. I think that's important. There clearly will have to be a battlefield assessment to see what damage has actually been done.
OK, Dan. Emma, what might the Iranian response look like, do you think?
Well, I think that the Iranian response will directly target American assets and potentially American citizens in the region, as well as America's allies. We also think that there is a significant possibility that within the coming hours, the Strait of Hormuz, where a fifth of the world's oil passes through, may well be closed. The Iranian parliament has voted to do that. It just hasn't announced when that might happen. And that would, of course, have a huge knock-on in terms of oil costs and prices for people all around the world. This afternoon, in a measure of just how concerned the entire world is about the wider security situation here. We have seen a number of airlines, including British Airways, cancel flights to Dubai and also the wider Gulf. And I think, having spoken to a number of intelligence people in the region during the course of the day, there is absolute agreement that there will be an Iranian response. They're just not sure what the nature or the scale of that response will be.
Emma, thank you. Well, within hours of the American strikes, Tehran launched another barrage of missiles towards Israel, striking targets across the country. From there, our correspondent Debbie Edwards sent this report.
Smoke and dust filled the morning sky in this suburban street, where an Iranian ballistic missile had managed to pierce through Israel's air defense systems and inflict its damage. It had fallen short of its intended target, hitting this row of houses instead.
The missile hit the house here on the corner of the street, and you can see the side of the building has completely collapsed. The cars here on the road have been crumpled and scorched by the power of the blast and the shock waves. It's not safe.
The missile landed just meters from the Bleicher family. They emerged from their basement shelter to find everything destroyed.
All the glass was on the floor, the windows were broken, and everything was falling apart, but yeah, we tried to evacuate as fast as we can.
And thank goodness you had this shelter underneath the house.
Yes, because of the shelter we were safe. It's so important. A second after we got in, we heard the boom, so luckily we made it on time.
Central Tel Aviv was once again a main target, and following Sunday morning's barrage, this residential community was levelled by a direct strike. 100-year-old Ella Kaufman among those evacuated from their homes. At an elderly care facility south of Tel Aviv, patients had cowered in the centre of the building. Amir showed me the destruction, saying it was a miracle they got everyone out unscathed.
We were sitting here with our patients, also on the second floor, same thing. And the bomb fell 100 meters from here.
Iran has warned of worse retaliation to come. The people of Israel are being told that this is both just the beginning and the end.
President Trump has been thanked by Israel for what many felt was an overdue intervention by the Americans, but the country is now also braced for the revenge that Iran has promised to unleash.
OK, Debbie, thank you. Well, here the Prime Minister chaired an emergency Cobra meeting in response to the American strikes. We can speak now to our political correspondent, Tom Sheldrick, who's in Downing Street. Tom, what are they telling you there?
Firstly, we're told that British forces were not involved. The United States did not request support and didn't request the use of any British facilities in the Middle East. But the Prime Minister was informed of these strikes in advance. In the run-up to this, he had urged President Trump to exercise restraint. And this morning, Sir Keir Starmer stopped short of saying that he supported the actions the US had taken. But he did say Iran cannot be allowed to have a nuclear weapon. He warned that there is now a risk of escalation within the Middle East and beyond, and called for negotiation instead. He's been speaking to some international leaders today and chaired a so-called Cobra emergency meeting with senior officials here. We've not been given any detail of what was discussed, but the government have said that they're organising a chartered flight to take British nationals out of Israel early next week.